some people watching this could not tell that there were two storylines. People are like, is she cheating on him? Is he cheating on her? What is happening?
Was it badly executed? Hi, this is Juniper.
Hello, this is Elle.
Welcome to our pod. And today we go with Elle, or Alice in this case, down into the looking glass of Liu Xueyi land dramas. Yet again, she found another rabbit hole to go down to and watched was it recent? A few years ago, right? 2 years ago?
It came out last year. No,
Oh, okay.
2024.
1 year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this drama that stars her favorite guy named Liu, I think, is called What If? And it's a fairly short drama, right?
20 episodes.
20 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it also stars Zhong Chuxi, which I don't know if a lot of people know her. I've actually seen her in other dramas in passing with Gong Jun.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It was about shoe factory and manufacturing. It was boring as heck. So I see a theme here, okay, for me anyways. So don't confuse this with the Marvel What If. Although I guess the premise is somewhat similar, right? Because it is about what if. It's like sliding doors, Chinese style.
Mm-hmm.
So you watched the whole thing. I tried. I gave up at episode 2, even though I was fast forwarding even through episode 2. I will share my sentiments based on what little I've watched, but this is all you, man. Go ahead and gush.
I don't know if it's a gush-worthy show, but okay, so I'll just high level, right? So, okay, the reason I watched this was of Liu Xueyi, but I was like, oh, he hasn't done very many modern contemporary dramas, I think, since he became a male lead. So this was, I think, in the last year, he's had like 3 costume dramas, and this was like one modern drama. So I checked it out. I was like, oh, it's short. I'll watch it. And I watched, I think, the first 4 episodes, and then I kind of temporarily dropped it because there were too many things to watch. And so I had to resume, and I had to like actually get my brain back into gear because I think I stopped right when the story started to actually take off, which is there are 2 storylines. And like you said, it's sliding doors. So it's really about this young woman. She lives in a town called, I don't know if it's a town or city, called Lashan, which is more like small town mentality. And she's been in a long-term relationship with this guy, but they're not married yet, played by Liu Xueyi. And then at some point, they both had planned to go to Shanghai, which is like the big city, to fulfill their career dreams. And there's a moment where something happens in this timeline where in one timeline she stays in Lashan, and then in the other timeline she leaves on her own to Shanghai, and they're going to try to do a long distance relationship. Right off the bat, there are familial problems with his parents, specifically his mother. He has a very overbearing mother, and I texted you. I said you would hate her. You said I already hate her.
Yes, I did.
Because she's actually the source of a lot of drama between them as a couple. It's very honed in on Chinese culture, local Chinese culture, where how the family's ties are set up. Especially as an American watching this, she should be a free woman. She's smart. She's hardworking. Like, why is she under the thumb of these people? And her boyfriend, like, he's a nice guy, but he's also a mama's boy. And if you cannot handle that kind of relationship, it's very uncomfortable to watch because even when he admonishes his mother, he doesn't really fully take the side of his girlfriend, right? He's always trying to balance that line between them. So I think if you're not into that, this is a very difficult show to watch because that is probably a big part of the drama in the first 2 to 3 episodes.
He's a appeaser.
Yes.
He wants to keep the peace. And to me, you know how I feel about that in real life, right? I find that as a weakness.
Yes.
In people.
Yes. I think had he been able to leave with her, they would have been able to start their lives. And then the story would, there wouldn't be no drama really. They would just live their lives in Shanghai, maybe occasionally go back home to visit his parents. Because of the storylines, father gets injured. He's like, I have to stay and take care of my dad, which, for whatever reason, that was the reason. So when she gets to Shanghai, so now the storyline actually splits. It's actually two storylines. They never come back again. They never meet up. It's not there's no dream sequence. There's no like, oh, is it gonna meld together? No, it's two separate storylines. So in Shanghai, she meets another guy. So at this point, she's in a long distance relationship with Liu Xueyi, and then she meets this other guy. He's like general manager, very senior, blah blah blah. At some point, he falls for her. So so now I'm gonna fast forward to, I don't know, probably like less than midway through the drama. So she has this pressure where she's kind of upset because she's in a tight spot with the long distance relationship. I think it's, she wants to be with him, but then she's upset at him. And then so Liu Shi flies in to see her, but they get into an argument immediately. And then he's like, "Why did I fly all the way out here to see you?" She's like, "Then just leave." And so he leaves in a huff. And then the other guy, he shows up and he's there to comfort her. Like so she runs down, she's chasing, but Lucy already left in the cab. And then the other guy would conveniently was waiting for her, and then he's hugging her, and she cries on his shoulder. And then you're like, oh, that's the breakup? That's literally the breakup. Oh no, she did go back one time, and then he's with this girl who's like a client of his. So he's an architect or interior designer. So he's helping her like design a floral shop. So he's with the girl, and she walks in to see him, and then he immediately holds the girl's hand, and she's like, like what the fuck? Like you've been cheating on me. So they both so that's how they break up. They never talk about it. She just flies back to Shanghai, and then the other guy basically declares that he likes her, and then they're together. And you're like, whoa. So actually, the interesting thing is, some people watching this could not tell that there were two storylines. People are like, is she cheating on him? Is he cheating on her? What is happening?
Was it badly executed that people can't tell there's two storylines, or
yeah, it's not very clear. Actually, you have to pay very close attention. Anytime they show you a city view of the city, that's where the storyline starts. So if they show you this bridge that I guess is famous in Loksan, I'm not gonna butcher the English name, Loksan, then you're like, oh, they're in her town. But if they show you like the button, then it's Shanghai. But you have to pay attention. There's no color coding or anything to tell you it's two storylines. And her physical appearance isn't really that different in the two storylines. Like her hair is a little different over time. Her clothes get better because she starts earning more money, so she's buying more designer clothes. But unless you're paying attention, you don't know that's two storylines. So actually, I think a lot of the comments or critiques was like, what is happening? Like people couldn't tell that it was two storylines. They just thought she was either an awful person because she's dating two men at the same time, or that like people, or like, are these twins? Like what's happening? But
it seems odd to me then. That would be a ding against the drama if it really confused the audience that easily. Now, I get there might be sometimes a language barrier or not everyone pays close attention to shows, but it's a long format media, right?
Yeah.
So you have the luxury of time in 20 episodes to make that very clear to people.
Yes. Yes, because even the split, when it happens in episode 3, she's on a bus. She's like, what if blah, blah, blah happens? And that's it. That's the split. There's no visual cue to tell you that it's two storylines. You just have to accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they tried that even in the episode I saw up to, which is 2. Remember I said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm watching a what if show where the woman even thinks about what if. And you're like, yeah, she dreams about the what ifs a lot. And I have to say, when they did the mini daydream where she thought, what if she had gotten off the bus versus not, right? And eventually he would have cheated on her in that scenario, right? And it would have been unhappiness for her. I was like, it wasn't obvious that she was daydreaming until way into that mini story, like side adventure, that, this is not real.
Yeah.
So they basically, I guess that's the way the show was trying to tell you this is the way the show wants to go with fantasies or what ifs. But that was not clear signaling at all. And if that's the same sleight of hand they use for the actual entirety of the main story what if, then yeah, I can see why that could be confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. If you didn't pick up that it's two storylines, because if you watch the story separately, they continue like in a linear fashion. It's just that they crisscross So like one episode, it starts off with her relationship still with Liu Xueyi, and then the other one's like suddenly she's with the big boss. And because with China, you're like, oh, they're working, they can travel, they can fly. People are like, is she flying back and forth and having these issues?
Yeah.
What is happening? Right?
Un- Unlike Mobius, which we're watching right now, where they have giant letters telling you this is cycle 1, cycle 2,
Yes.
alternate
Yes.
reality, what time of the day in which cycle. Come on, you
Yes.
can't confuse the
Yes.
audience too much, right?
Yeah. Like I think the problem is like you're using a very sort of hooky kind of thing to draw people in, but then you're not making it clear. Like you're still filming it like it's a regular slice of life show. So there's that element. But okay, I'm just gonna jump to the end. So in the end, in her path with Liu Shi, her childhood sweetheart, they have a lot of bumps. The mother-in-law always causes trouble, whether it's financial problems or showing up at the workplace or pressuring them to have kids. So she actually experienced a very traumatic childbirth situation where the kid sister came back and was suicidal. She has slashed her wrist. They're rushing her to the hospital. The main female actress, she's also her water breaks, and there's no one to save her because she is laying in bed with no one paying attention. And so she gets really angry and won't let the family see the baby for like, I don't know, over a month or whatever. She stays with her mom. And it's also very uncomfortable to watch because, again, the husband technically did nothing wrong. He didn't know she was in pain. He didn't know she was suffering. He was trying to save his sister who's in a coma. So at the end, so she starts to suspect that he's having an affair with the florist, the girl who was also in the other timeline, and and then at the very end, it turned out he was trying to plan a surprise wedding because he never gave her a wedding, and that was their happy ending. And you're like, I don't know. And then the other timeline with the boss, they're dating secretly. So he gets an offer to go to Singapore. He's trying his best not to take the offer because he's like, oh, I care about my girlfriend. But she doesn't know all this. Like they show just his scenes with talking to like some guy. And then, but he still goes. But he actually bought an engagement ring and he was going to propose. But then because they missed each other, they both went to each other's apartments and rang the doorbell. Nobody was home. So he was like, well, I guess it's not meant to be. So he flies away and never tells her that he was going to propose. And so she's like, okay, I guess we're long distance. And then she's like, oh, I'm done with being long distance. I'm breaking up with you. But at the very end, he comes back and it turns out like he wants to surprise her with a proposal, but she rejects him. And he's like, oh, this ring will always be yours. And he puts the ring down and she opens it and she sees on the receipt the date of when he bought it. And she realized he bought it before he left for Singapore. So then I think it's open ended because she's sort of like, oh, like her heart melts a little bit. As you're watching this, and as I got, when I got to the end, I was thinking about like, okay, I watched this because I actually liked the acting in this. I thought even though the setups are not comfortable to watch, the acting for all the leads were very good, like very good actors. But I felt like every problem that the female lead has came from her. And I found her to be obstinate, a little bit selfish. She never wanted to hear like reasoning from the other side. And people were also saying she was a hypocrite because she left for Shanghai and she did that to her ex, but she was getting upset with her new boyfriend for going to Singapore, and they were all for career reasons. It's hard to root for her because you're supposed to be on her side. It's really her story. The men actually never do anything wrong to her. Both men are loving. They have limitations, but they're not terrible. They've never done anything bad to her. They actually put her first. They really love her. So when you're watching this, you're like, am I supposed to be happy for her? And it's hard to be happy for someone who is so unhappy in life. I feel like she's the type of person who's never satisfied. She has very high uh expectations of the men, but she thinks she's giving the same back, but if she doesn't like get a sense that it's like all about her or 100%, then she will find a reason to get upset or to be dissatisfied. This is a hard drama to recommend because unless you like flawed characters, I think there is an audience that likes to watch these kind of drama, like real drama, like where you have arguments or bickerings or misunderstandings. There's an audience for that. It's not fantasy. I would say they filmed it in as realistic a way possible, which can be uncomfortable to watch because most times I do watch things for escapism. I don't want to watch this really, but I would say because the acting in this was pretty good, I stuck with it. I actually didn't like lose my interest. But is she a character worth rooting for, it's kind of hard. I would say she's not the most appetizing female lead, even though they try to put her on a pedestal, right? She's pretty, she's successful, but is she someone I would root for? Very difficult. Anyways, that was
You got it off of your chest?
my spiel. Yeah.
Okay. So I will interject with some of my thoughts, right? Which is I don't care how good or bad the acting was, and I wasn't wowed by the acting based on the first 2 episodes, because if the characters are unappealing, then why would I care, right?
Well, unappealing is different from acting because they're acting unappealing.
I know, but I don't want to see good actors playing really annoying people with a really annoying situation, right?
That's
the whole
fair.
story is annoying based on what I saw. And I'm glad I didn't watch it, because based on what you just told everyone, it sucks in terms of the progression, right? Like, it's basically people who can't communicate, who are not really on the same page ever, and none of them should be together. I don't care which timeline you're on.
I agree. I don't think she should be with either guy. She needed another guy.
Yeah, it's not whose fault is. It's not about who's better or who's worse. Like, just people are different and they have different needs, or they could be at different places in life. They have very different priorities in life, and then it becomes how you take things, right? When you said, oh, he didn't know she was in pain in one of the timelines, right? And he went and helped out his poor sister who tried to kill herself. I can see that scenario happening in real life, and then depending on where you are in life and how many other instances of this not coming, like the guy you're with is not coming through for you in your time of need, it could be the last straw, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if he's fully justified. It's more like, well, who does he prioritize? I mean, I already saw in the first episodes, he prioritized his family over her. Remember, we had a whole exchange over this. I said, yeah, he's a really nice guy. He was going to go to Shanghai, got a job for her just so that they can go together to pursue her dreams. And don't get me started on how stupid her dreams are, by the way. Like, remember I said the instigation for her dream was like a pair of shoes? And the woman from Shanghai, who I thought looked awful, and she's like, oh, salivating off how enviable looking and grand that person is. I'd be like, wow, I guess my standards are very different, right? Like, I thought that was chintzy, the shoes and everything. You want me to go to Shanghai because of that? Right? Like, it made her seem silly. And I get it. She's from a small town, right? That was, I think, the point, that she's provincial, maybe country bumpkinish. And she aspired to like Sex in the City, right?
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yes.
But anyways, that was my sidebar. But my whole point was, how convenient has that had the accident just as they were about to leave? And then he easily gave, it was kind of like a no-brainer. Well, I'm staying behind for the dad. I'm like, I get it. In Chinese decisioning, that is very normal. But at the same time, like, what was it you said? Oh, had the timing been different, they already moved to Shanghai, then it wouldn't be as of a trigger for their breakup, like separation at least, right? Distance-wise, because they were already moved to Shanghai. And I said, no, not really. Think about this. If you were going to stay in Shanghai and persist there once something happened to your parent far away and you weren't going to come back, then how does that change your decisioning if it happened before you move? Right. It shouldn't change your resolve, right?
I mean, yes and no, because, I mean, you and I did talk about this, right? If they were making more money, they could afford a home nurse. But you said the issue didn't seem to be financial anyways. It was just that he was being a filial son.
Yeah.
And he felt like he needed to be there.
His parents guilt-tripped him, and he was like, oh, okay. Like, his dad wasn't gonna be the guilt tripper. It was always his mom. But even his dad was like, oh, I felt like so nice that you're here. How awful it would be if you weren't here, or something like that. I'm like, oh, really? Like, this is the brainwashing, you're like gaslighting you're going to apply to your son now. This is horrible Chinese parents, is all I can say, right? Like, I am a horrible Chinese daughter, apparently, because the minute that whole accident happened, I rolled my eyes all the way back in my hand. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell, parent? Did you have to go slip on that banana peel or whatever happened? Get your shit together. Remember you said this whole show, we could have just titled it as Dumb People Who Can't Handle Their Shit. Yeah. And I said, yes, I would add the fact that this is a pointless drama about dumb people who can't handle their shit. Because there's no joy. Well, hold on, let me finish. Okay, hold that thought. Because to me, I was like, why would I want to go see this? Like, who is this for? Well, you kind of said who it might be for. And I just don't see why anyone would want to watch this. it wasn't even that big of a deal if they broke up because of them being in different places. Like, I want different things from you. Okay, let's break up. That's how it works in my life, at least. You know, you move on. I
Mhm.
don't go, oh, but what if I had stayed with this person? Or like, my God, if your whole life was about what ifs and revisiting your old choices, don't live your life anymore.
Right.
You're not living life. You're just
Yeah.
pondering life.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think she regretted her decisions, at the very end, right? But I feel like her personality is what turned me off the most. The expectations of other people, because she'll be upset about something, but then she's not really doing something about the situation. It's more like um just just being upset for the sake of being upset, or using it as a weapon, right? Weaponizing her upsetness. I don't know if that's a word, but
They're all caricatures. They're like
yeah.
extremes of everything. Like, he's the caricature of the filial appeasing, like, I mean, Liu Xueyi's character, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
She's the caricature of I guess the whatever the script wants you to see as the dreamer modern woman. Well, who wants to become a modern woman, right? Big city, and they seem to denote independence and wanting materialism as a bad thing, or selfishness as a bad thing. I would not say selfishness is always a bad thing. I'm not saying she's a likable person based on what you told me. She sounds very self-centered, but who isn't in this modern world?
Right.
Right? And then the guy in the city just sounds like your typical caricature of a guy in the city that you would run into, right? Like, it's like watching, what is it, Working Girl, Harrison Ford's character? Throwaway character, mind you. Have you ever watched
Yeah.
Working Girl? Yeah.
No, I
You
don't.
know what I'm talking
I might
about?
have a long time ago. I might have, yeah, a long time ago. I don't remember it.
The guy
Mhm.
at work who's really handsome and nice and who
Yeah.
helps you out sometimes.
Yes, that's her. That's him. That's her boss. Yeah, because I think she like it's really weird how they get together too. Basically, he's her rebound. Um, but but then he also has some baggage. Like, he apparently fathered a daughter he didn't know about, and then that girl comes back, or that woman comes back with the daughter, hoping to become a happy, you know, nuclear family with him. So that was their drama. But anyways, yeah, I would say I'm gonna try to I don't know how I rate this. I think it's gonna be like a 7, which is to me kind of high, but I mean, I finished it. So I'm like, there must be something to it that I liked enough to watch. I think, but it's not, I don't think it's a show you should watch unless you like this type of storytelling, which is very like set in a very I don't want to call it realistic, because obviously this is not realistic, but in this type of fantasy drama where the problems are arising from their sort of realistic normal situations, it's not comfortable to watch. It's kind of irritating, and you're like, you just want to sometimes throw things at the screen, because you're like, not that again, or not that person again, and oh my god, why are you falling for that? And so, but yeah, I would give it just a straight 7 for this.
Well, thank you for suffering through it for all of us so we don't have to. You took a hit for the team.
I gotta support Lo Shi.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got your Liu Xueyi fix out of it, but I'm so glad. I really could not watch it. I was like, oh my god, these people are all annoying, and there should be no drama. They should have broken up already. End the story. Maybe if they had like a story about them reuniting 15 years later, maybe when they're more compatible.
Yes. And the whole time span was just 2 years. Like, she went from country bumpkin to successful whatever in 2 years, which is also very fantastical. But yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for that. Thank you for that context. It's now a comedy. Um, sorry. So again, I had said, right? My instinctual reaction was, oh my god, these people, if they're real life people, I would run away screaming or slap them silly, and they would wake up, snap out of it, and then run away screaming. So I don't want to interact with people like that in real life and their drama, and I don't want to watch a drama about their drama, especially when the drama can't even competently, according to you, execute the most important element of the drama, which is the what if aspect.
Yes, the fact that people couldn't tell that there were two storylines is definitely like a big miss on their end.
Again, thank you for your contribution, your sacrifice, your dedication to Liu Xueyi and his art.
I know. The little that I can do.
Uh-huh.
All right.
All right. Moving
Yes.
on.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.